Hello friends, welcome to my program, Colonel's Punch. I'm Colonel DDP Thorat, retired. I know the rogue Pakistan to its bones. I fought them in the 1971 war. I fought the Pakistani-sponsored proxy war and insurgency in the state of Jammu and Kashmir for the last 2 decades. So I know them the very best. My program, Liberation War of Bangladesh, is in 3 episodes. In the first episode, I've covered genocides in Bangladesh. Second, I've covered the race to Dhaka. And today I'm going to cover liberation of Bangladesh, the signing of the surrender treaty. Well, before I go any further, I'll introduce to you this East Pakistan sketch. Now, Dhaka is right in the center. Khulna, Jessore, Bogra, Hilli, Jamalpur, Sylhet, Narsingdi, Chandanpur, and Chittagong. You can see the sketch very clear. You got the Ganga, the Padma River. Then you got the Brahmaputra, or what they call in the Jamuna River. And then we got the Meghna River. It's as big, nearly 500 meters wide, and you can't see the other side. They all go and meet into the Bay of Bengal. You can see it on the smaller map. Bangladesh in green, surrounded by 3 sides by India, and about 200 miles by Myanmar. On the south is the Bay of Bengal. Therefore, Bangladesh is enclosed from 3 sides by India and 1 side by the sea. Yesterday I've covered in details General Rainer's 2-corps offensive, that is the 9-day, which came up to Jessore, and here the Pakistani 9-day commander just broke out and went towards Khulna. General Rainer had a very clear and a golden opportunity to get across to the Faridabad ferry, but instead he chased Pakistan 9-day to Khulna and got delayed. Similarly, his northern division, 4 division, went toward Chandanpur, then came to Magra, Bagura, and then came towards the Padma River. So in all, Pakistan 1 division has been segregated and they are nowhere near Dhaka. Coming down to the northwestern, there's the 33 Corps, General Thapens. It's gone down to Hilli, Bogra, and cut this Bogra salient. Now the Pakistan 16 Infantry Div has been pushed back, and they are again either disintegrated or out of battle. 101 Com Zone, General Nagras, has surrounded Jamalpur. The first Marathas had laid a block. The battle was on, and the brigade commander here of Jamalpur broke out, more in the next round. General Sagat's 4 Corps In a lightning offensive, his 57th Division by 7th had already touched the Meghna River. The 23rd Division, Chandanpur, by about 8th, has touched the Meghna River. And the 8th Mountain Division has surrounded Sylhet. Yesterday, I had gone over the battle of up to the Meghna River, and then a golden opportunity came to the way of General Sagat, and he is not the one to miss it. The Pakistani 313 Brigade and the 27 Infantry Brigade, which were across the Meghna River, all of a sudden turned turtle. They started rushing towards Sylhet, leaving the defenses which they were supposed to take on the Meghna River, and thereafter fight and get back to Dhaka. They left that and they went inside their division where Colonel Qazi was waiting for them at Sylhet. So therefore this two brigades were also out of battle now. This was a golden opportunity. And General Sagat was not to miss it. General Arora was very apprehensive of sending troops across to Meghna at this level. He wanted a little more build-up. But General Sagat said, no way. And he had his way. He pushed in. 4-5 GR, heliborne operations, the very first heliborne operations on 7th and 8th. And successful. They landed south of Sylhet, and thereby both General Sagat and the Div Commander, Major General Rao, Krishna Rao, who became chief later, were able to cut off Sylhet, these two brigades, and their any counter-offensive for the present. Done this, he sealed off now, General Sagat has sealed off the major force from the north. Now he comes to launching his main force across the Meghna River. General Sagat now launches the Meghna Air Bridge. That's the biggest heliborne ops of this operation. He launches his 311 Infantry Brigade across the Meghna River with the Hepters for 36 hours, 110 sorties by a dozen helicopters by Group Captain Chandan Singh. He managed to put across first one hop at Rajapur and then the second to Narsingdi. So therefore he had in two lots, 8th and 9th, 36 hours, he had the whole brigade across. And General Sagat was not the one to hold his forces. He pushed the 73 Infantry Brigade into the sector through on ferries and river crafts. Now just imagine, Pakistan had kept left behind 4 ferries here for their own battle, but they ran like hell, they never looked back. And those ferries also fell into our hands. So therefore, 73 Brigade was also pushed in. Now, he wanted some armor across, so PT 76 squadron was, they forded through the Meghna River. A whole force on, now right on the nerve of Dhaka. And General Nazi did not know what was happening to him. He was being hit from all round now. All his divisions were cut off by our course. It was a game of chess. He was nearly checkmated. Sagar's 29 Infantry Division got down to this vortex on the Meghna River, Chandrapur. And they blocked any reinforcement from the south. Now, 301 Mountain Brigade got closer to Dhaka now. This was at Bhadia Bazar. Therefore, General Sagat made an absolute crescent all around Dhaka. This was a very successful operation. It left General Nazi's plan shattered. His troops were shaky. And General Nazi's great fortress plan, had these people running towards the fortress instead of getting into the Dhaka ring. So the round one was totally won. Now here comes the second round, and that is the famous two-para Tanghil paradrops. Now here the two commanders I'd like to mention to you. One was Major General Indrajit Singh, who was the officiating DMO of Eastern Command. He was a paratrooper. He had seen operations in Sicily, and he was a military cross, a veteran. He also commanded 50 Brigade. Now, we had 50 Brigade commanders, a para brigade commander. General Sagat was also there earlier, and now we had one more. So, two para heads. And the man who was commanding two para was Lieutenant Colonel Kulwant Singh Pannu. He breathed fire. One of those paratroopers who could eat a glass of, cut into the glass also. He was a very strong man. Therefore, gentlemen, when the operations were going around by the Sagat, General Sagat's formation, here is another, paratroopers which land. They landed on, this was an operation on 11 December. All of a sudden, in the sky at 4:30, you can imagine the scenario. One after another, 48 planes from the Russians to Dakota came one after another and pushed in nearly 700 men. They were paratroopers. At 4:30, they hit the ground. Okay. And within an hour, they were ready for operations. So they had to go to the bridge, Pongli Bridge. Pongli Bridge was lightly held. They immediately went there and captured it. But within hours, the Pakistanis at this place counterattacked. A stiff resistance. But our paratrooper boys held on. So task number one was to get hold of the Pongli Bridge, and thereafter the brigade, the Pakistani brigade which was falling out from Jamalpur, it had to be blocked. The Jamalpur Pakistani brigade also got stuck up here, and there was a massive fight. The first Marathas gave them a jolt. Then whatever was left of them came to the paratroopers. And those who went helter-skelter, thinking that they will be safe in their own land, the Mukti Bahinis and the Qadar forces, not Qadar, Tiger Qadar, was a young chap, about 30 years old. He did not even have proper beard. And all those people who went, the Pakistani soldiers who went helter-skelter, they picked up and killed. So the Tangle operation, thereafter, it was clear now that the two para was in very fine spirit. They were given another objective to go ahead, and this time to the Mirpur bridge that was on a different axis. So they switched axis and went to Mirpur bridge, and very stiff battle. Here the Pakistanis were prepared for the battle, and a very stiff battle. Mirpur fell on the night, left behind about 40 Pakistanis dead. They never came back for a counterattack. Here they had learned a lesson that the paratroopers are not going to leave them. During this operation, one more thing which shocked us. The Pakistanis had scattered mutilated humans, their limbs, their heads, bodies, and throw them into the river. A terrible sign. These people required to be hit hard, really. When we landed, it was 700 paratroopers with a arty battery, ADS, a surgical team, and when they were floating. Pakistani in Dhaka were thinking sometimes that the Chinese must have come in, or the Americans have landed. But their hopes were dashed when the Indians came down. And the moment the Indians came down, they said, Jai Bangla. And you can imagine thousands of Bengalis rushed to greet them, and they were moving ahead of the forces in the battle. They were showing them the way. They were showing them how the Pakistanis were deployed. And that made it very, very easy. They carried their stores, ammunition. And this is what is called the People's War. The Pakistanis never knew what hit them. So, now the Mirpur bridge was about 30 kilometers away, is in the hands of the gallant two para. And Lieutenant Colonel Pano had done a wonderful job. Their lands now Major General G.S. Nagra. There's a link up on 12 December with the first Marathas. That is the part of 101 communication zone of General Nagra. The operations on Mirpur was completed on 15 December. And on 16 December, early morning, our friend Major General Nagra lands up at the Mirpur bridge. The moment he lands, he hands over a note to be handed over to General Nazi. The note, the moment he lands, he meets Colonel Pano, and then both of them decide to send a note sign in handwritten note to General Nazi. It says, Abdullah, that's the name of Nazi, Abdullah Nazi. Abdullah, the game is over. You give up to me, I will take care of you. This note reached Nazi. He looked at it and he gave clearance to General Nagra to visit him. So therefore, at about 9 o'clock in the morning, Major General Nagra, Lieutenant Colonel Pannu, the CO2 paras, and Tiger Siddiqui enter Nazi's den. You can imagine that. Nazi looked shaken. He was unshaven. He looked dirty, tired. But seeing General Nagra, he brightened up. Gentlemen, General Nagra and Abdullah Niazi were course-mates. They knew each other, just like schoolmates. They were trained together. And Nagra was posted in Rawalpindi. So he had met him there again. So they were good friends. The moment Nazi saw Nagra, his face brightened up. He told him, "Ye Pindi walon ne mujhe marwa diya hai." This Pindi people, he's telling, Nazi, he was in, changes colors. Because seeing a friend, he says, these Pindi people have, got him in trouble. इन्होंने मुझे मरवा दिया in Punjabi, he says. Then he shares a number of jokes. As old time's sake, he was wanting to show that he is still very confident and not very shaken. And thereafter he sang the couplets of, Qawwali, ghazals. He was trying to show that he was unperturbed. But within, one could make out that he was totally shaken. It was a very cordial meeting of two friends. And he was not prepared to say anything about both sides, about the surrender, ceasefire at this point. They shook hands. But my friend Tiger Siddiqui, he refused to shake hands. He gave him a glare. He is not going to let off. Nazi and his forces who have killed millions of his Bengali brothers. So was Pannu. Pannu also did not shake hands. They just then moved out and got back. There was an incident here. I must bring it. The guard who was outside Niaz's office was tall. He must be a Baloch, very handsome. And he was not allowing them to park their car there. He was not knowing what is happening, what has happened. And here was Nazi, the man who was supposed to lead all these people. Shaken. The situation shifts. Now, to fast-moving things happening at the UN. Mr. Bhutto, ZA, he was known in UN to give very powerful speeches. They had asked for a ceasefire on 5th and 7th December, but that did not go through because Indira Gandhi had signed that Treaty of Friendship and Peace with Russia, so it was vetoed. And both France and UK also abstained. So it was totally vetoed. Then Bhutto again tried. From 12 to 15 December, 4 days long deliberations went on in UN. Bhutto was saying that, a sovereign country has been attacked by India and they had no business to do it. It went on to the 16th also. General Yahya Khan, the president, told Nazi, try and negotiate a ceasefire. When Field Marshal or General Manekshaw was asked, he said, no, I want an unconditional surrender. Even Mukti Bahini wanted the pound of flesh. Then another wonderful thing happened. There was, an input that on 14th, that the Pakistani civilian government, the governor, was having a meeting in the government house. 3 MiGs went and bombed that place. When the cabinet meeting was on, the main hall just collapsed. I don't know, a lot of people must have got buried under it. But the cabinet fled. They fled to the Hotel International, which was a safe zone given by Red Cross. Nazi rushed to meet Mr. Spivak, the US rep, and asked for an UN-controlled ceasefire. He was prepared even to hand over the government to the United Nations and wanted withdrawal of troops. But this was all, between US and UN, this was a game on. India was not going to fall to it. General Manekshaw had made it very clear. He had broken down them psychologically. 3 times he had addressed the people, the media, the UN. He had dropped millions of leaflets asking them for unconditional surrender and also promised them to be, the Pakistan army to be protected under the Geneva Convention. Otherwise, you know what will happen? Mukti Bahinis, who had their tails on, were just waiting to slaughter them. So that was also a point which was troubling. Nazi and his force commanders were busy enjoying themselves in the fortresses when Dhaka was about to fall. Let's now come down to early morning 16 December. Delhi. General Sam Manekshaw rings up Major General Jacob, Chief of Staff, Eastern Command. He says, Jakes, my dear, go to Dhaka and get the surrender. Imagine on 16th itself, early morning, the chief ringing up, Jakes, go to Dhaka and get the surrender. No more words were given. 10:30, 16 December, General Jacob has already landed in Dhaka. He is received by the UN rep, Kelly and Mark Henry. They wanted to go along with and discuss about ceasefire. You know, Jacob, he just shook his head and says, give them a firm thank you. And he and the BGS of Niazi drove down to Niazi's office. You know that place, Tiger Niazi, or the killer Tika Khan? Here was an Indian general with only one star officer, unarmed, going into the tiger's den in the jaws of death where 3 million Bengalis were killed. He just walks into Niazi's office and quickly he pulls out the instrument of surrender. Right? You can see it. And he says, friend, please sign it here. Please sign it. He gets a shock. You know, absolutely shocked. He says, we are not going to surrender. We want a ceasefire. Jacob looked at them, you know, stared at them. He says, I'll give you 30 minutes. You all can discuss, all you top generals with Nazi. You all can discuss. But you just got 30 minutes. Either you surrender or we'll start bombing Dhaka again. You know, or what our Air Force can do. And then he just left. He walked to enter Dhaka. And they were 30 kilometers away. But then General Sagat had put on the screws. The Mukti Bahinis and Siddakis were moving all around. And there was a lot of power which was, you know, exhibited by the Indian forces. And Nazi is going to fall a prey to it. After 30 minutes, you know, Jacob defiant and unfazed. Indian soldiers wear his sword and his own faith a shield, stormed into Nazi's office. There was a pin drop silence. Nazi was not able to react. Taking advantage of this, he says, Nazi, I take your silence for acceptance of surrender. That is it. At 1 p.m., it was 1 p.m., Nazi and he had lunch. At 4:30, history was made. General Arora arrived. And at 4:56 Dhaka time, in front of 1 million crowd, cheering crowd, on the same racecourse ground, where on 7th March 71, just suppose 8-9 months back, Desh Bandhu, Mujib Rahman, had given the call for independence. Sonar Bangla had asked for. That surrender treaty was finally signed at 4:56 Dhaka time. General Nazi handed over his pistol and his troops laid down arms. General Arora was also given a guard of honor. This was very, very humiliating. I must say on 16 December at 4:06 p.m., Bangladesh was born. History was created. 75 million Bengalis were free. Sonar Bangla celebrations were on all over. Pakistanis lost half its navy. 1/4 of his Air Force, and 1/3 of his army, and 93,000 Pakistani troops laid down their arms, they surrendered. Never in the history of the world, after the Second World War, such large numbers surrendered to any force. You know, Mr. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was in UN. He was giving a speech. He was talking about 1,000-year war with India. When the news came in UN, the Pakistani forces have surrendered. He broke down. He was in tears. He tore his speech, threw them up in the air, and he said, "You chaps have let me down." General Yahya Khan was shown the door. Bhutto became the prime minister. Zia came and he wanted a 1,000-year, not only war, he wanted to, cut India into pieces, bleed India. But then, the turn of events, Bhutto was hanged, his daughter Benazir was bumped off, Zia was killed in an air accident. Today, their most popular 3-time Prime Minister Sharif is sitting in London, sick and under treatment. Things have changed. But Pakistanis haven't changed. Their genocides, their killing of people, own people, has not stopped. Whether it is Balochistan, or the Pashtuns, or the Sindhis, millions of people are missing, killed. Women have been raped. Will there be another division of Pakistan? Yeah, we had a powerful personality, Indira Gandhi. Today, we've got an equally able man, Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Will Pakistan break down into pieces? Only time will tell. Your guess is as good as mine. Well done, Indian Army. Well done, Indian Defence and Armed Forces. I must also thank Mukti Bahini and the 75 million people who took it all in, never gave up, fought till the end. Jai Hind, Jai Bangla. Thank you.